She asked me to step away, allowing them to share an intimate moment in our space. I departed for good. 7 years later, I unearthed a chilling revelation about my former wife. In just 30 seconds, my world transformed in ways I never imagined possible. In just 30 fleeting seconds, everything I held dear for 17 years crumbled, leaving me to question the very essence of what I thought was love. Every moment of that day lingers in my mind, vivid and unforgettable. Our special day together. 17 years of shared moments and deep connection. I departed from work a bit earlier than usual. A bottle of her cherished champagne tucked away in my briefcase, accompanied by a delicate velvet box holding a diamond pendant I had been longing to gift her for months. The pendant that Emma had admired in a shop window last autumn, her gaze lingering just a moment longer, leaving an imprint on my memory. The house embraced a serene stillness as I quietly entered. Silence envelopes the space. I wondered if she was lost in a gentle slumber, or if she had stepped out to craft a delightful surprise of her own. In that moment I became aware of it. Joyful sounds drift down from above. The rich, warm sound of a man's laughter enveloped the air, mingling with Emma's voice. A melody I had once cherished, now resonating for another's ears. My feet glided effortlessly, ascending the familiar stairs that had welcomed me countless times before. The bedroom door lingered just shy of being fully closed. With a gentle nudge, they appeared before me. My wife of 17 years intertwined with an unfamiliar presence in our shared sanctuary. Kathy? My voice felt unfamiliar, a soothing calmness woven through its control. Time stood still, her gaze locked with mine, and I found myself yearning for a hint of shame, a trace of remorse, or anything that echoed the woman I believed I understood. Instead, I discovered a lingering frustration. "What brings you back home?" she inquired, as though I were the one trespassing. "Today marks a special moment for us." The champagne bottle glided from my grasp, landing softly on the carpet with a muted thud. The man, younger than me, caught my attention with a hint of discomfort that stirred something deep within me. Emma let out a soft sigh. "James, why not take some time for yourself and wander off for a little while? Let's complete this moment, and then we can share our thoughts later. Let us bring this to a close." It felt as though I had stepped into a moment meant for deeper connections. "Saw Amco Ko Phi Kong?" I softly murmured, returning to the Vietnamese phrase my grandmother had shared with me many years ago. "How could you do this?" Her quietude spoke volumes, revealing everything I longed to understand. I find it hard to recall the moment I slipped away. The journey through once familiar streets felt strangely foreign, a mindless drive that stirred something deep within. I found myself checking into a motel, slipping cash into the hands of the clerk, aware that she kept a watchful eye on our credit card statements. Room 142 awaits. The mattress sighed softly beneath me as I settled in, my gaze lingering on the wall ahead. 17 years. Our wedding unfolded in my mind, Emma glowing in white, both of us so youthful, so convinced we grasped the essence of love. Then Olivia arrived, our beautiful little girl with her mother's captivating eyes and my determined chin. 2 years later, John became the heart of our family. We were filled with joy, were we not? Yet, there had been whispers of something deeper. The quiet hours spent at work under the soft glow of the lights. Whispers exchanged in a distant space. The intriguing scent that lingered in the air when she walked through the door. I brushed aside every caution, surrendering to my trust. My phone vibrated softly, a persistent reminder of the world beyond. Emma's messages transformed from a casual indifference, "It's not that serious," to an urgent longing, "When are you coming home?" As the children returned from school, a sense of longing filled the air. When Olivia called, I summoned a calmness to my voice. "Hey darling, I'm on a sudden business trip, but there's no need to be concerned." "In the presence of Miss Taylor?" she inquired with a touch of naivety. Indeed, I was not truthful, bringing up my lesbian colleague who had long stirred feelings of jealousy in Emma. Throughout the night, I immersed myself in the world of divorce attorneys, my thoughts swirling as I crafted lists of assets, accounts to untangle, and cherished items to reclaim. My hands trembled as I opened the envelope containing the DNA test results I had discreetly arranged years ago, when uncertainty first crept in, revealing that both children were undeniably mine. In the stillness of the empty room, I softly murmured, "You have no idea what I can unleash when pushed to my limits." I wasn't merely heartbroken. I was discovering a fierce, resolute passion within me that I had never realized was there. As dawn broke, a delicate dance of anticipation began to unfold. A single call to a moving company, accompanied by a generous cash incentive, guaranteed their arrival by 8 a.m., 3 hours ahead of when Emma usually returned from her yoga class. I guided them with a careful touch, subtly highlighting only what was mine. 17 years of existence, elegantly condensed into a fleeting 2-hour experience. As they departed, I lingered in our bedroom, now solely hers, enveloped in a chill of bittersweet contentment at the half-filled closet and the empty nightstand that once cradled our wedding photo. I had been meticulous, ensuring that not a single trace of James Hayes lingered. "My dear, where would you like us to send these treasures?" the foreman inquired. With a soft smile, I mentioned the storage unit on Highway 16, gently passing him another stack of bills. I have settled the payment for 3 months in advance using cash exclusively. My next destination was the bank. There were undeniable pleasures in the world of finance. I understood precisely how to safeguard what belonged to me from Emma's reach. I divided our shared accounts, placing her share into a new account opened in her name. The remainder, offshore banking, is designed for circumstances that resonate deeply with my own. As the teller spoke, her voice carried a hint of tension, her eyes flickering towards her manager with a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. "I'm processing your withdrawal now, Mr. Hayes," she said, the words lingering in the air. "That's a significant sum." "Text, it's my money," I responded softly, a hint of pride in my voice. "And I've worked hard for every single penny." Later that day at work, I entered the break room, where a few colleagues were mingling together. In silence, I slipped off my wedding band, setting it gently on the table before bringing down the paperweight with a decisive force. The gold lay crumpled, much like the delicate threads of my marriage, easily bent and broken beneath the weight of unrelenting pressure. "Jesus, James," Tom from accounting whispered as I gathered the twisted metal and tossed it into the trash. As I stepped outside, I could sense their gazes lingering on me. Allow their words to flow. I had reached a point of indifference. As the afternoon light began to soften, Amelia from HR approached my desk with a gentle presence. "I heard what happened," she murmured gently. "I apologize." "Don't be," she whispered softly, leaning closer. "Take care, James." Emma shares a deep connection with Amelia Phillips. The pieces fell into harmony. My wife was entwined with my boss, the man who held the reins to my career, my bonuses, my future within the company. The betrayal pierced through with an intensity that lingered long after. My lawyer remained completely unfazed when I shared my thoughts with him. "We will engage investigators," he said, "and there's something more you need to be aware of. Philip's wife holds a steadfast prenup, woven with a significant penalty for any breach of trust." 3 weeks later, Amelia Phillips found himself adrift, having lost not only his position but also the bond of his marriage and a staggering $20 million to his former partner. A gentle smile graced my lips as the news reached my ears. The investigators revealed not only Phillips but also 3 other entanglements that unfolded over the course of 8 years in our marriage. The evidence arrived in manila envelopes, untouched, as I hesitated to unveil what lay within. I had witnessed all that I needed to. When Emma received the divorce papers, her voice rose in a wave of emotion. I allowed it to slip into the quiet of voicemail. "You believe you're quite the mastermind," her message whispered with a teasing edge. "You cannot begin to fathom the journey you've ignited." The custody battle was intense. Even with the court's mandate for visitation, Emma always seemed to conjure up a myriad of reasons to back out at the very last moment. When I finally reunited with my children after 6 long weeks, I could sense the changes in them. They had transformed into new, vibrant beings. We nestled into a booth at Hardee's, the fast food haven that had once held their affection. Olivia, My lovely 16-year-old averted her gaze from mine. John, at just 14, towered over his sister as he gazed intently at his phone. I've missed you both deeply, I said, my voice heavy with emotion. Olivia finally raised her gaze. Father, must we continue down this path? What are you up to? I inquired, a flutter of unease stirring within me. These encounters. Mom mentioned that we could choose to visit you on special occasions like birthdays and holidays if we wish. John finally spoke, his voice laced with a practiced air of indifference. It was merely a physical connection, Dad. Why did you have to turn it into such a significant matter? A wave of shock washed over me. Is it merely a physical connection? Your mother has shattered the promises we made to each other. Olivia interjected, her voice laced with a hint of impatience. You left us behind. Charles has been a more constant presence in Mom's life than you have. Charles invites us to the games, John shared. He embraces life in a way that goes beyond constant work, unlike you did. A deep shift stirred within me. I placed my water glass on the table with a forceful gesture, causing droplets to scatter across the surface. Both children recoiled slightly. I have always been here for you, I murmured, my voice a soft whisper that lingered in the air. I stood strong for you both. Your mother held you away from me, and if you prefer Charles over your father, then so be it. Your decision has been made. I rose, placed the money on the table with a deliberate grace, and stepped out into the world beyond. They called out to me, but I chose not to look back. In my car, I held the steering wheel tightly, feeling the tension rise as my knuckles turned pale. I had guided their teams, reviewed their assignments, and gently kissed their scraped knees. I had been present for each significant moment in their lives, and Emma had woven a web of doubt around me in just 6 weeks. In the days that followed, their calls went unanswered. During our last mediation session, Emma's smile held a certain satisfaction as she looked across the table. She spoke softly, her voice carrying a weight of honesty. I cheated because I wanted to, and I feel no regret. I issued a check covering the complete child support owed until our children reached the age of 18. In the memo line, I inscribed payment in full for the release of my children. As we departed, Emma leaned in softly, her voice barely above a whisper. You'll come to regret this, James. Your children are in my care, and they will forever be your vulnerability. 1 hour after finalizing the divorce, I stepped away from my job and departed the city. I kept my destination a secret from everyone. A week later, my mother reached out to me. The children stopped by, searching for you, she whispered softly. They appeared to carry a weight of sorrow when they discovered you had departed. They made their choice, I responded, even as my heart shattered anew. Now they must embrace their reality. What transpired, James? She inquired softly. This feels unlike you. I lingered on the view of the ocean from my new balcony, feeling a deep connection to the vastness before me. I've changed, Mom. After I hung up, a wave of curiosity washed over me as I pondered why my children, who had once seemed indifferent, now sought to reconnect with me. What had shifted? What was I overlooking? Charlotte transformed into my haven, a city where my name and story remained a secret, hidden in the shadows. The regional office of my company greeted me with a warm professionalism, and the furnished corporate apartment, though well-appointed, echoed the solitude I felt within. Cold walls, unremarkable furnishings, and an absence of personal touches. Absolutely exquisite. The moment I stepped away from my past, I embraced a new beginning by changing my phone number. As the finalized divorce papers arrived through certified mail, I carried them to the intimate space of my small concrete patio. With a flicker of a match, I ignited them, witnessing the quiet transformation of my marriage into delicate ashes. The smoke danced into the night sky, gently releasing 17 years of promises that ultimately faded into silence. A month after I found my place, my parents came to visit. Mom's tears flowed as she gazed upon the empty apartment. Where have you placed your belongings, James? What about your books? What do you have in your music collection? In storage, I responded, though deep down, I had already chosen to leave them untouched forever. Those possessions were once tied to another soul. "You've changed," Dad said softly as they were departing. "Your gaze reveals everything." "I have transformed," I shared with him. James's essence faded the instant he stepped through that bedroom door. For the next 2 years, I drifted through life like a whisper, skillfully navigating the world of banking. I was the first to arrive and the last to leave, choosing my words carefully and speaking only when it felt essential. Weekends were a time for indulging in the comforts of home or pushing my limits at the gym. At first, my colleagues reached out, inviting me to join in their joyful gatherings and weekend celebrations. However, my distant responses gradually led to a silence in their invitations. Hayes possesses an undeniable brilliance, yet I couldn't help but hear someone remark on his rather gloomy demeanor one day. I found myself in agreement. As the night enveloped the apartment in a soft hush, I often caught myself gazing at my phone, lost in thoughts of what Olivia and John might be experiencing in their own world. Had Olivia received her driver's license yet? Was John still immersed in the game of baseball? The questions lingered in my mind, yet I remained silent. They had made their choice, and I was resolute in my commitment to respect it, even as it left an emptiness within me. The gym transformed into my sanctuary. I had never embraced a particularly active lifestyle during my marriage. Emma's endearing phrase for him was "Dad bod." Yet the depths of rage and heartbreak stirred within her, driving her forward with undeniable force. Each repetition, each step on the treadmill was driven by echoes of memories that lingered just out of reach. As I approached my 39th birthday, the reflection in the mirror revealed a stranger, leaner and stronger, with silver strands weaving through my hair and deep, meaningful lines framing my eyes. On that very day, I received the exhilarating news of my promotion to Regional Amelia of Commercial Banking. My boss acknowledged my steadfast dedication and concentration. In translation, my existence revolved solely around my work, shaping me into the ideal corporate warrior. I savored a moment of solitude with a glass of whiskey, gazing at the enchanting Charlotte skyline from my window. A new chapter unfolds. A year has passed, taking me further away from the life I once knew. 3 months later, everything shifted when Ava Rodriguez entered my office with an air of determination, her presence commanding attention without a word of invitation. "We need to discuss your demeanor, Mr. Hayes," she declared, her arms wrapped around herself in a protective embrace. I lifted my gaze from the screen, ready to unleash the piercing look that often made others retreat in haste. Instead, I found myself gazing into the depths of 5 feet, 1 inch of resolute spirit. "Pardon me, I found my way through. Your demeanor is influencing the spirit of the team. 3 of my analysts hesitate to share their reports with you, as they often feel a sense of inadequacy in your presence." I could have felt a surge of anger. I should have gently reminded her of the balance between us. Instead, an enchanting moment unfolded. I laughed, a true laugh that resonated softly, as if awakening something long dormant within me. Ava's eyes sparkled with a mix of surprise and intrigue, then softened as a hint of suspicion crept in. I failed to find the humor in this situation. In that moment, I genuinely perceived her essence for the very first time. Shiny black hair elegantly gathered in a tidy bun, thoughtful brown eyes that reflected a calm confidence, untouched by the usual trepidation my presence might evoke. Full lips gently drawn together, conveying a sense of disapproval. A deep, long-hidden feeling began to awaken inside me. "It has been years since anyone has addressed me in such a way," I confessed, "particularly not in a professional setting." "Indeed, it seems that someone ought to have done so," she responded softly. Yet there was a gentle warmth that had crept into her voice. Following that encounter, I began to feel a heightened awareness of Ava in the office. Her intent gaze during discussions, the warmth in her exchanges with younger colleagues, the gentle melody she hummed while waiting for the elevator. After so long, a spark of curiosity about another soul ignited within me. I embraced small challenges, greeting the day with a warm "good morning" instead of a quiet nod, allowing my gaze to meet others instead of being lost in my phone during the elevator ride. Over time, Fleeting exchanges blossomed into shared moments over lunch in the warmth of the company cafeteria. One day, my assistant noted how you smiled at Johnson during the budget meeting. I had no idea you were capable of that. Ava and I slowly unveiled fragments of our souls to one another. One afternoon, as we sipped our coffee, she shared the heart-wrenching moment when she discovered her fiancé entwined with another man, just 6 months before their wedding. The most painful part wasn't even the betrayal, she whispered softly. It was the moment I understood that everything we shared had been a facade. That evening, I welcomed her to a cozy Italian restaurant in the heart of downtown, marking our first encounter beyond the confines of work. In that intimate moment, a bottle of wine resting between us, I found the courage to share my tale. Everything. The anniversary surprise, the intimate motel room, the children who embraced their mother's narrative. I anticipated a glimmer of sympathy in her gaze. Instead, I discovered a deep sense of connection. The ones who profess their love can sometimes become our greatest adversaries, she murmured, her fingers gently brushing against mine across the table. Her fingers radiated warmth as they brushed against mine, a tender caress that felt like a long-awaited embrace. For weeks afterward, we lingered in a peculiar space, transcending the boundaries of colleagues, yet hesitating to embrace the fullness of romance. I explored the company handbook regarding workplace relationships, feeling a wave of relief upon finding no restrictions on dating colleagues from various departments. Yet some obstacles lingered. As we strolled by the river one evening, Ava confided, "I feel a sense of fear. Following David, I promised myself that I would never allow another man to see my true self, to be open and exposed once more." "I see," I responded softly. "At times, I find myself questioning my ability to trust a woman, especially after the impact of Emma's actions." We paused, our eyes locked in the warm light of the street lamp. The night air caressed my skin, while a gentle warmth unfurled within me, delicate and hesitant. "We're both a little broken," Ava said, her smile tinged with a hint of sorrow. I approached gently, allowing her the space to retreat, and tenderly tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "Perhaps that is the reason we have the potential to mend one another." As she leaned into my touch, rather than pulling away, a wave of emotion washed over me, stirring feelings I thought had long faded. Yearning. Not the frantic yearning that had carried me through my divorce, but something softer and more enduring. A lingering hope that the most beautiful moments of life still lay ahead of me, waiting to be discovered. "I can't guarantee that I won't be a challenge," I cautioned her. "For 2 years, I have honed the delicate skill of creating distance between myself and others." Ava's laughter danced in the air, a melody I found myself yearning for. "And I can't guarantee that I won't gently remind you when you're being difficult." She moved nearer, just within reach, and the delicate scent of her perfume enveloped me. "Yet I would love the opportunity if you are willing." That evening, beside the river with a woman courageous enough to face my shadows, I came to a profound realization. The past will forever linger in the shadows. The treachery, the ache of absence, the fury. Yet, maybe it was time to reclaim my path and not allow it to shape what lies ahead. Dating at 39 was akin to rediscovering the delicate art of movement after experiencing a profound setback. As I stood in the bathroom mirror, adjusting my tie with a flutter of nerves, I felt a rush of youthful excitement, reminiscent of a first crush, before our evening at the intimate jazz club downtown. When Ava arrived in a simple red dress that gracefully embraced her curves, my breath caught in my throat. It had been so long since a woman had stirred something within me in such a profound way. Our journey began with a gentle pace. Cafes, cinemas, strolls through the park. With each encounter, I unveiled a deeper layer of my being, and Ava gently worked to dismantle the barriers I had constructed. By our 4th date, when she welcomed me into her apartment, a wave of unfamiliar emotions washed over me, leaving me both excited and apprehensive. "We can just be," she murmured, feeling the uncertainty in my silence. "It's not quite that," I confessed softly. "It has been quite a while since I last shared an intimate connection with a woman." Ava gently pressed her finger to my lips. "I am not her," and you are not a reflection of my past. Simply the two of us, intertwined in our own world, present in this moment. That night transformed everything. In her bed, with moonlight cascading over her skin, I sensed something awaken deep within me. A piece of me I believed had faded away long ago. Ava embraced every facet of life with fervor and intensity. In moments of frustration, her words would flow in a swift, melodic Spanish that I couldn't quite grasp, yet it captivated me deeply. Eres el hombre más turco que he conocido jamás. Exclamó un día, después de que me negó a tomar medicina para la fiebre. With a soft sigh, I found myself lost in the moment, my voice barely rising above a whisper as I responded from the couch. Yet, I find myself deeply captivated by you. The words flowed from my lips before I even realized what was happening. Ava paused, her expression transforming into a radiant smile. It's finally time for you to acknowledge the truth, my determined one. I started my Spanish lessons quietly, yearning to immerse myself in her world more deeply. 3 months later, Ava extended a warm invitation for Sunday dinner with her family. A lively assembly of parents, siblings, nieces, and nephews filled a home that felt almost too intimate for such a crowd. Yet it radiated a warmth that made it just right. Her father regarded me with a watchful gaze, while her mother graciously continued to fill my plate. As we shared a meal, I could feel the soft murmurs of my family surrounding me, their words flowing in Spanish, unaware of my understanding. He's far too old for her, I heard her uncle whisper, a hint of concern in his voice. No sonri con frecuencia, anadio su prima, no sonri mucho. After dinner, when Ava's father inquired in hesitant English about my intentions, I replied softly in measured Spanish. Señor Rodriguez, tengo un profundo amor por su hija y en hilo compartir mi vida a su lado. Si usted me concede su bendición. The atmosphere grew still. Ava's lips parted in surprise. When did you begin to embrace the beauty of the Spanish language? She inquired when we found ourselves in solitude. From the moment you said yes to being with me, I drew her nearer, feeling the warmth between us. I longed to immerse myself in your world. As our bond grew stronger, we found ourselves drawn into heartfelt discussions about what lay ahead. At 39 and 33, we felt the urgency of our desires, knowing that time was a precious companion in our journey toward fulfillment. On a quiet Sunday morning, as we found ourselves entwined in soft sheets, the subject of children emerged unexpectedly. I stopped taking birth control, Ava revealed, her voice steady yet laced with an undercurrent of vulnerability. 2 moons ago, a gentle tension coursed through my body. Were you not inclined to share that with me? I'm discussing it now, she said softly, resting on one elbow with a gentle grace. I long for a child, James. I long to share a life with you, to create something beautiful together. Her straightforwardness held a captivating blend of fear and exhilaration. But if this isn't what you desire, did I truly wish to embrace fatherhood once more? The question lingered in my mind, weaving through my thoughts like a soft whisper, stirring emotions that I couldn't quite shake off. My initial endeavor concluded in sorrow, as the children I cherished decided to distance themselves from me. The mere idea of facing that anguish once more felt nearly intolerable. Yet, the mere idea of a life without a family alongside Ava felt unbearable. 1 month later, during her family's cherished Sunday dinner, I found myself kneeling in the soft glow of candlelight, revealing a ring that had captured my heart after weeks of careful choosing. Ava Rodriguez, you have rekindled a spark in a soul who believed he was lost forever. Would you grace me with the joy of becoming my wife? The family burst into joyous celebration at her affirmative response, her father's strong clap on my back surprising me, while her mother gently wiped away tears of happiness with a napkin. As the evening unfolded, I found myself gathering the courage to seek the blessing of her parents, expressing my heartfelt intentions in Spanish. Ava graciously shared her knowledge of the Spanish language with me that night, a gift born from mutual appreciation and connection. You've introduced me to expressions that feel too intimate to share with your family. I chuckled softly as we reclined, spent and content in the tender embrace of the early morning light. Sharing the news of our engagement with my parents felt more subdued than I had hoped. They felt joy for me, yet a shadow of worry lingered in their hearts. "What are your thoughts on Olivia and John?" Mom inquired softly. "What do you think of them?" I responded, my tone sharper than I had meant it to be. "Will you extend an invitation to them for the wedding?" The question landed with a weight that resonated deeply within me. It was evident that they wished for my absence from their world. What compels me to welcome them into my world? 6 months later, we exchanged vows in an intimate ceremony by the ocean's embrace. Ava glowed in a delicate white dress that gently hinted at the small secret we had uncovered just a month prior. Our first child was already blossoming within her. As we exchanged vows, unspoken promises lingered in the air, weaving a deeper connection between us. To always cherish her presence, to express oneself with sincerity, to embody the essence of the man she truly deserved. As the minister declared us husband and wife, I embraced her with a kiss that stirred feelings I had believed were lost forever. Though a honeymoon cruise wasn't my first choice, witnessing Ava's radiant joy transformed it into something truly special. We wandered through Caribbean ports for days, while our nights were filled with dreams of what lay ahead. Amidst everything, we shared our thoughts, delving deeply into our expectations, fears, and dreams. I discovered through experience that the essence of an enduring marriage lies in the art of communication. Sophia Hayes Rodriguez graced us with her presence 9 months later at 2:17 in the morning, following 18 hours of labor that filled me with admiration for Ava's remarkable strength. As the nurse gently laid our daughter in my embrace, her rich black hair already a beautiful presence, a profound change stirred within my world. The weight of past grievances faded into insignificance as I gazed upon this delicate, flawless soul who looked to me for care. "She's enchanting," I murmured, passing her to Ava. "In every graceful movement, she mirrors her mother." Ava offered a weary smile. Her gaze mirrors yours. The first year unfolded in a haze of restless nights, tender diaper changes, and enchanting moments of discovery. I immersed myself in fatherhood with a fervor that mirrored the passion I once dedicated to my career, resolute in my desire to cherish each milestone. Ava and I made a heartfelt promise from the start to share everything with one another. No enigmatic evenings under the stars. All absences must be accounted for. All passwords are visible. Sophia blossomed into a vibrant, inquisitive child, radiating warmth and delight to all those around her. By the time she was 3, she moved gracefully between English and Spanish, often blending them in a way that delighted her extended family, crafting her own charming Spanglish that brought smiles and warmth to their gatherings. "No, Daddy," she would respond with conviction, delicate hands resting gently on her hips. "No, yes, así." In this way, life embraced a soothing cadence. Work held significance, yet it no longer shaped my essence. My priorities had transformed in ways I could never have anticipated. Every evening, I eagerly anticipated the enchanting bedtime tales shared with Sophia and the intimate, hushed exchanges with Ava on the porch, moments that unfolded softly after our daughter drifted into slumber. It was an unremarkable Tuesday, 7 years since I had turned my back on my past, when my phone chimed softly, interrupting my contemplation of quarterly reports. I picked up the call, my curiosity piqued, without glancing at the caller ID. "Greetings?" The voice on the other end stirred something deep within me, hauntingly familiar, as if it were a whisper from a past I could almost touch. "Father, it's Olivia." A wave of emotion washed over me, constricting my throat. "My precious daughter is 4 years old." A sudden gasp, filled with unspoken longing. "Father, kindly. I long to share something with you." After 7 years of quiet longing, the lingering resentment surged within, a heavy weight in the chest. "What words could you share with me?" "I'm getting married," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "In 3 months' time, and I long for you to guide me down the aisle." The pen I had been holding broke in my grasp, leaving a delicate blue line across the report. "What draws you to that desire? Your decision resonates profoundly." For I have uncovered the truth now, Olivia murmured softly. Concerning all aspects. I nearly ended the call. My finger lingered above the end call button as Olivia's voice, now a woman's voice, filled the air. A stark contrast to the teenager I once knew. Dad, I really need you to stay on the line. After 7 years of quietude, she now sought to weave herself back into the fabric of my existence. The irony wrapped around me, a weight that was almost overwhelming. What do you seek from the man who nurtured you, cherished you, and then was discarded as if he meant nothing? I inquired. My voice came out with more intensity than I meant it to. A deep, warm voice resonated through the line. Mr. Hayes, I am Thomas Pearson. I am engaged to Olivia. I understand this may come as a surprise, but I kindly ask you to listen to her perspective. There was a quality in his tone, both respectful and resolute, that caused me to hesitate. I stole a moment to admire the framed photo resting on my desk. Ava, Isabella, and I shared a beautiful day at the beach last summer. My cherished family, my true family. You have 5 minutes, I softly stated. Olivia's voice came back, heavy with emotion. Dad, I would be honored to have you by my side as I take this important step. I apologize. I was naive and impressionable, caught in a web of manipulation, and the weight of that choice lingers with me each day. As I shut my eyes, a wave of memories washed over me. Olivia's first steps, the joy of guiding her as she learned to ride a bike, her high school graduation just months before everything in my world changed forever. What is it about this moment, after all these years? For I have come to understand the truth now, she echoed softly. Mom mentioned that if we turned you away at Hardee's that day, you would return home. She mentioned that your stubbornness called for a gentle reminder, a lesson to be learned. Her voice trembled. We reached out to you as you stepped away, yet you never looked back. Memories of that day danced through my thoughts. The echoes of my children's voices reached out to me as I left, a swirl of anger and pain making it difficult to turn around. How profoundly different could everything have unfolded if I had chosen to look back? John enlisted in the army, seeking distance from his mother, while Olivia carried on. He is far away, serving in another land. My son, amidst the chaos of a war zone, a chilling unease enveloped me, unlike anything I had ever experienced. My boy, confronting peril while I remained in the warmth of my cozy office. On that day at Hardee's, Olivia's voice softened to a gentle whisper. I was completely unaware of the concept of intimacy. Not quite. I was merely echoing the words my mother shared with me. I was unaware of its significance or the way it could affect you. I pressed my palms against my eyes, struggling to contain feelings I believed were long forgotten. Father, are you still with me? I require a moment. I found my way. This is an abundance. With a soft smile, Thomas replied, reaching for the phone once more. We feel you. Allow me to share my number with you. Reach out when you feel prepared to share more. After hanging up, I remained still, my gaze fixed on the business card where Thomas's number was inscribed. As Ava stepped through the door with Isabella that evening, the expression on my face revealed that something profound had unfolded. James, what troubles your heart? She inquired softly after tucking Isabella in for the night. I shared my deepest thoughts with her, observing the way her expressive features transformed from surprise to frustration, and ultimately to a gentle understanding. You should meet them, she said softly. Is it really that simple? I inquired, taken aback by her swift agreement. Ava gently clasped my hands within her own. Life is a fleeting journey, and we must embrace every opportunity for healing that comes our way. With a gentle smile, she added, I've always been curious to meet your children. A week later, we arranged a video call with Olivia and Thomas. Gazing upon my daughter's face, reminiscent of her mother's yet reflecting my own eyes, stirred a profound mix of emotions within me. She had blossomed into a captivating young woman, her fiancé a tall, earnest man, who maintained a gentle, reassuring touch on her shoulder as we spoke. Ava joined us halfway through, infusing the awkward call with a comforting warmth that only she could offer. She inquired about wedding plans, prompting Olivia to chuckle as she shared tales of our own ceremony. Olivia confessed softly, a hint of vulnerability in her voice. "I discovered your family on Facebook, Ava's cherished family page. That's how I realized you had found love again and welcomed Isabella into your life." As soon as Isabella heard her name, she hurried over, her face drawing near to the camera with an inviting warmth. "Could it be that you are my sister?" She turned to Olivia with a playful glint in her eye, prompting a ripple of laughter from the group. "Yes, I am," Olivia replied, gently brushing away a tear. "I've been longing for this moment, anticipating the chance to finally connect with you." Before concluding the call, Olivia posed the question that had clearly been weighing on her mind. "Dad, was there ever a moment when we slipped from your thoughts?" The tightness in my throat rendered my words elusive. "Olivia, you have always lingered in my thoughts. How could I possibly? You are my beloved daughter." A month later, Olivia and Thomas found themselves on a flight to Charlotte. I wandered through the airport terminal, my heart racing with anticipation. Ava gently clasped my hand, her warmth enveloping me, while Isabella danced with joy beside us. As Olivia stepped through the gate, she seemed transformed, almost unrecognizable to me. This graceful young woman felt like a world apart from the fiery teenager I once knew. She paused for a moment, then moved swiftly, enveloping me in her embrace. The years of turmoil and heartache faded into the background as I cradled my firstborn child in my arms. "I'm truly sorry, Dad," she murmured softly against my shoulder. "I am as well," I responded, feeling the weight of my words in a way that she might not fully grasp. Isabella, always eager and full of life, nestled herself between us. "It's my moment to embrace my sister." That weekend, we brought them to Canadian Whole Beach, a cherished family tradition that has been part of our lives since Isabella was just a toddler. As I observed Olivia and Thomas crafting sandcastles alongside Isabella, a profound sensation washed over me, as if my past and present were intertwining in a way that was both surprising and exquisite. Ava and Olivia shared a connection that took me by surprise. In the quiet of the night, I discovered them in the kitchen, their laughter weaving through the air as they exchanged stories, reminiscent of cherished companions. "She's truly remarkable, James," Ava confided in me afterward. "Your essence lingers in her presence. The same unwavering resolve. The very same heart." On the last evening before their departure, Isabella gifted Olivia a crayon drawing, featuring 5 stick figures gathered beneath a radiant blue sun. "It encompasses each one of us," she shared with a sense of pride. "And there he is, John, even in his absence, lingering in the air." During their visit, Thomas shared that they were facing car troubles. The engine of their aging Honda was faltering, presenting a considerable challenge for 2 graduate students. Once they departed, Ava and I reached a profound decision. We acquired a pre-owned Volvo S60, embodying safety and reliability, ideal for a young couple embarking on their journey together, and had it delivered to their apartment accompanied by a heartfelt note, a gentle invitation to return and savor the moments again. "With all my heart, Dad and Ava," Olivia called, her voice trembling with emotion. "Father, did you really get us a car?" "Just watching over my daughter," I responded, my voice trembling with emotion. "That's the essence of fatherhood. What are your thoughts on the finances?" Thomas inquired, his emotions palpable and intense. "Feels beyond our reach." Ava gently reached for the phone. "Let go of those concerns. This is how family supports one another." As the holiday season approached, a sense of anticipation filled the air when we learned that John would be returning home on leave. On the day we went to gather him, I invited everyone along. Ava, Isabella, Olivia, and Thomas, along with Ava's cousin Rosa, who was gracing us with her presence for the holidays. As John entered the terminal clad in his uniform, I found it hard to reconcile the boy I once knew with the man standing before me. He paused upon noticing our group, his gaze deepening as it settled on me. For a fleeting moment, a wave of uncertainty washed over me, and I feared he might withdraw. Instead, he set down his duffel bag and closed the space between us with 4 purposeful strides, enveloping me in a passionate embrace. "I'm sorry," "Dad," he murmured, his voice rich and foreign against my ear. "I'm sorry as well, my dear," I said, embracing him closely. "I deeply apologize." As we parted ways, John cast a gentle smile in Ava's direction, a moment filled with unspoken connection. "It seems you are the stepmother I've been curious to learn about." To my surprise, he embraced her gently and said, "Thank you for looking after my dad, Mom." Isabella, with a bold spirit, embraced him with an affectionate leap, wrapping herself around his legs. "I am your sister. The anticipation of finally meeting you has lingered in my heart for what feels like an eternity." As we prepared to depart, I caught John's eyes softly resting on Rosa, who was tenderly assisting him with his bags. Rosa, radiant and full of life like her cousin, met his gaze with a gentle smile, her cheeks warming with a soft blush. In that moment, as I gazed upon my reunited family, both familiar and fresh, a profound sense of wholeness enveloped me, revealing a longing I hadn't realized was there. The marks that once shaped my identity lingered, yet they transformed into scars that I could now embrace with a sense of grace. On the eve of Olivia's wedding, we found ourselves together on the porch of our cozy rental cabin, enveloped in the stillness of the night. The rest of the family had drifted off to sleep, granting us a precious moment of solitude. "There's something I need to share with you," she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. "Once you departed, I steadied myself, uncertain if I was prepared for what would follow." Mom struggled to embrace the weight of her actions. "She held us responsible for your departure." Olivia's hands quivered softly as she pressed on. "At the age of 17, she introduced a man into our lives, one of her romantic interests. She suggested that I keep him company while she took care of her errands." A chill coursed through my veins. "Olivia." I closed the door to my room, seeking a moment of solitude. He made an effort to force the door open. Soft droplets glided down her cheeks. It was then that John returned home earlier than expected from baseball practice. He confronted the man with a bat, urging him to depart. I embraced her tightly as she wept softly against me. The woman who was meant to safeguard my daughter, my precious child, had instead placed her in harm's way. In that moment, I whispered a promise to myself. My children will always have me by their side, shielding them from her presence. 3 months after the wedding, we settled into a charming 2-story colonial in Belmont, a home that embraced the promise of our expanding family. The property featured a charming garage apartment, ideal for John's visits, while the backyard opened up to a serene wooded area, inviting Isabella to wander and discover. "This is our forever home," I whispered to Ava, our voices echoing softly in the empty living room. Isabella glided up and down the stairs, her joyful laughter resonating softly throughout the home. "My room feels so expansive," she exclaimed with delight. Ava nestled closer as we observed our daughter. "You seem to have quite the vision for the number of bedrooms," she remarked, a knowing smile gracing her lips. In a moment of tenderness, I responded, pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead. I had thoughtfully arranged one bedroom to be ideal for a nursery, even though the idea of expanding our family had yet to be spoken of between us. Later that evening, as we immersed ourselves in the spacious garden tub, a feature Ava insisted on during our house search, she gazed at me with a playful glint in her eyes. "Mr. Hayes, I sense you are attempting to enchant me with this bathroom." I drew her nearer. "Is it having the desired effect?" Her laughter danced through the air, echoing softly against the cool tile. "Could be." John found himself drawn to Rosa, and soon his visits became a regular occurrence. As I entered the kitchen late that night, I stumbled upon a moment that felt charged with unspoken emotions, causing John to spring away from her with a startled expression, my throat clearing, echoing in the stillness. "Just keep in mind," I mentioned to him later, striving to maintain my composure. "Should you cause her pain, you will face the formidable presence of Ava's entire family, all 37 of them." John smiled, his expression reminiscent of the boy I once knew. "I'm embracing the beauty of Spanish, Dad, for Rosa and for Ava and Sophia as well." When he revealed his intentions to attend Duke after his discharge, I sensed that Rosa played a crucial role in his choice. The warmth of Ava's family enveloped him, welcoming him into their cherished traditions, sharing their beloved recipes, and inviting him into their laughter, mending pieces of his soul he never knew were in need of repair. Olivia's wedding day dawned with a gentle warmth and a flutter of excitement in the air. As I adjusted my tie in the hotel room, Ava gently caressed my lapels. "Are you prepared?" she inquired gently. For 7 years, I believed this moment would remain a distant dream, I confessed. "I'm filled with a deep sense of apprehension about the possibility of faltering in some way." She assured me with unwavering faith that you wouldn't. As the time approached to guide Olivia down the aisle, my heart raced with a fervor that felt as if it echoed in the silence around us. She appeared luminous, a woman fully blossomed, no longer the little girl who once perched on my shoulders at the zoo. "Are you feeling joyful, my dear?" I murmured softly as we started our stroll. "Yes, Dad," she whispered, gently squeezing my arm. "I exist." Ava and Sophia sat in the front row, their eyes glistening with emotion as I gently placed Olivia's hand in Thomas's and settled into my seat next to my wife. The ceremony unfolded beautifully, a tapestry of emotions, until the reception. When Emma arrived unexpectedly, her presence charged with an unsettling energy. She glided toward our table, her gaze soft and distant. "James," she murmured softly, "I've been longing for the moment when you truly awaken to your feelings. We can rediscover the warmth of our bond once more." Before I could find my words, Ava rose gracefully to her feet. "Remove your hands from my husband," she stated, her tone steady and composed. John drew near to Emma, their presence intertwining in a moment charged with unspoken connection. "Why do you believe I enlisted in the army, Mom?" "To escape from you." She was gently guided away by security. It was revealed later that she experienced a profound emotional struggle and required hospitalization. Life flowed gracefully onward, embracing its exquisite rhythm. Ava revealed her pregnancy just weeks after Olivia shared her own joyful news. John finished his service and began his journey at Duke, with Rosa gracefully by his side. When the news of their engagement broke 6 months later, Isabella, now 5 and delighting in her dual role as both big and little sister, was determined to be the flower girl once more. Our home transformed into a warm embrace, welcoming both sides of our blended family. On Sunday evenings, our dining table was adorned with the rich flavors of Ava's mother's recipes and the smoky allure of my father's barbecue. 3 generations engaged in a lively conversation, their voices intertwining in a beautiful blend of English and Spanish. At 44, I find myself contemplating my journey, how the betrayal that once shaped my existence has gently receded into a distant chapter of a much richer narrative. The 17 years spent with Emma seem dim beside the vibrant depth of 7 years shared with Ava. I've come to understand that while perfection may be an illusion, through collaboration, understanding, and heartfelt dialogue, we can create something truly beautiful together. As I gaze around our living room, I see Olivia and Thomas tenderly holding their newborn son, while John and Rosa share a moment, hands intertwined, discussing their wedding plans. Meanwhile, Isabella is joyfully playing on the floor, filling the space with warmth. A deep sense of fulfillment washes over me, something I once believed was beyond reach. Ava rests her head gently on my shoulder, the subtle curve of her pregnancy just beginning to reveal itself. "Do you ever find yourself reflecting on past choices?" Her voice drifts softly through the air. I smile, drawing her nearer. "What is there to feel regret about? Each journey that brought me here has been meaningful." Her laughter dances gently in the air. "Even discovering all those passionate Spanish expressions?" "Especially those," I reply, brushing my lips gently against her temple. Life may not always present us with our desires, yet it often offers what truly nourishes our souls. I longed for Ava. I longed for Isabella. I longed for the return of Olivia and John. And now, after so long, I find myself enveloped in a sense of completeness. 2 beautiful families intertwined, creating a harmonious union. Ava meets my gaze, her deep brown eyes reflecting an understanding that feels almost intimate, as if she knows the depths of my soul. In unison, we declare La Familia es to do. Family holds a profound significance in our lives.